All right, y'all. Today we're taking a look at this boudoir photography business. Gonna see if it has BSS for its local search and for its city search. So we're back in the GBC universe where we're taking declining boudoir photographers to the #1 boudoir photographer in their city. As always, our North Star is FSIC, where we focus on full spectrum intent capture. And that's because FSIC explains why all boudoir photographers either rise or fall. So we got our, FSIC down there in white, high intent peeps on the left, low intent peeps on the right. And if a boudoir photography business is rising, most likely they're pulling in peeps from this entire intent spectrum. But if we got a boudoir photography business that's falling, we're missing some chunks of people somewhere. And way over on the left, the highest intent peeps, that's Google search, social search. People searching for boudoir photo shoot in their city, like right now. That's where we focus on talking about BSS, which is what we do here. Way over on the right, that's the lowest intent people. They ain't searching for boudoir right now. They most likely don't even know what the heck it is. So that's our sister brand. We're talking about BLCS, and right now with that brand, we're only working with boudoir photographers currently running more than 10 grand per month in boudoir Facebook ads. All right, so BSS, boudoir search sameness. That's when a boudoir photographer has 0 or 1 slots on page 1 of Google. And 0 slots is, that's a fast death of a business because we know that approximately 80% of Google searches never hit page 2. So we're invisible to literally 4 out of every 5 people if we're on page 2. Our business is going downhill fast. We care about being visible to the approximately 80% of searches that are page 1 only searches because they're the bulk of the market. Now, 1 slot on page 1 of Google is no bueno as well because basically, every other boudoir photographer on page 1 is going to have 1 slot as well at minimum. And so and there's 10 organic slots on page 1 of Google. And as a result, we're actually going to, we'll look the same as everyone else. When we look the same as everyone else, we will, buyers are just going to click. 80% of buyers anyway are going to, that's our page 1 search only. They're going to click and every single link on page 1, open everyone's website, fill out everyone's contact form, price shop everyone, get the best, offer rate for themselves. And, it's kind of just death by 1,000 cuts there. So we do not want to have BSS. And it's also because 0 or 1 slots on page 1 Google is actually not normal. It's actually the symptom of 2 deeper root causes. Those 2 deeper root causes are market saturation, which most people know about. That's, seems like every week someone gets a new iPhone, they turn up their Google My Business profile, and their website's an issue boudoir. So it's kind of, making it harder to rank on page 1 of Google. And, or someone gets a new camera, then they start posting in the mom Facebook groups that they now shoot boudoir. So it's more sellers for the same number of buyers, makes it harder for each seller to get buyers. And this happened, kind of big way with COVID. A lot of people lost their jobs, but couldn't earn money, but they still needed to earn money. So guess what? Everyone's already got a smartphone with an awesome camera, triple cameras on it. So it's really easy for people to turn and become boudoir photographers. Increase in supply, but demands remain the same. So that's market saturation. Now, the new one that most people have never even heard of is the false belief of page 1 equality. So a lot of boudoir photographers actually believe, okay, every boudoir photographer gets 0 or 1 slots on page 1 of Google just kind of naturally. That's simply how it happens. And, maybe we were on page 1, but new boudoir photographer came in, ranked the website above ours, we got pushed off. And as a result, we kind of just, that's simply how it is. I guess, we'll have to wait, hope they delete their website and Google stops indexing them for us to hopefully get back on page 1. And hopefully Google doesn't pull in somebody else to page 1 ahead of us. But this is actually a false belief. And I know it's a false belief because I know that Google will give as many page 1 slots to peeps as they want. And, as they're willing to put in the effort to acquire those, kind of those slots. So I know this because I actually went from 0 out of 10 slots page 1 on Google to 9 out of 10 slots page 1 on Google in only 10 days using this new methodology I developed. So false belief of page 1 equality. Basically, we got to kind of break through this mental barrier, break through this kind of this false belief, so we can even look around and see if there are solutions available that can solve it, because people kind of naturally accepted this thing could not be solved. Now, Boudoir Photographer BSS is a disappearing Boudoir Photographer, DBP. Yeah, because we got 0 slots on page 1 and we're on page 2 or deeper. Yeah, basically, approximately 80% of searchers have never seen us. We're definitely disappearing Boudoir Photographer, which matters because that is the first signal, the first kind of flashing emergency signal, emergency light that says, that basically says the boudoir photography business as a whole is eventually going to be disappearing. And same thing with 1 slot on page 1 of Google. I mean, we're still basically invisible. We're looking the same as everyone else. We're being price shopped to death. Just a real waste of time. So, it's the start of our universe here on the left. A disappearing boudoir photographer with BSS is caused by the dual horns of market saturation and page 1 equality, or the false belief of page 1 equality, which causes people to not act and go out there and take as many page 1 slots in Google as they want, because Google will give them. Now, luckily, we do have the solution. I created it. We know that BSS is treated with social search saturation, aka S-cubed methodology. And it works exactly as it says. We saturate social search with the highest intent buyer keywords. And when we do that, it's kind of like the backside of the Andes Mountains down in South America, or kind of the small streams, the small rivers. That's saturating social search, and those eventually all flow together down to the big Amazon River. And that is that's Google page 1. So it's kind of everything flows to Google page 1, but it starts with saturating social search. Now, this is the exact strategy I use to go from, again, 0 out of 10 slots page 1 to 9 out of 10 slots on page 1 in 10 days. Show those results here in a little bit. And this is actually the only strategy I've seen for boudoir photographers that enables a boudoir photography business to actually successfully fight back against market saturation, and then to actually still continue to grow the business in the face of market saturation in a relatively quick time frame. Technically, the only other thing that can successfully do that is brand, having a massive, large, well-known brand. But dude, that takes 5 to 10 years. We ain't got 5 to 10 years. AI is here taking people's, going to start taking people's jobs. Actually, I believe it already has, and it's going to be taking more and more and more people's jobs. So the reason that I see that is the only strategy that can do this in a relatively quick time frame is imagine we're in Nashville, Tennessee, and we're one boudoir photographer there, but there's a million total competing in the marketplace. Everyone's got their website, so we're all trying to rank up on Google page 1. But we say, okay, SQ methodology is the only thing that can actually help me compete ASAP, faster than anything else, and without spending ads, without having to build a brand. Then what we do is we actually crank SQ methodology up to the max. So this is like what we would do in this scenario, crank it up to the max, or this hypothetical scenario. And let's say we get first 300 page 1 slots on Google, or across all the social networks for the highest intent keywords. And after we do that, we also, those flow onto Google, and let's say we get the first 300 slots in Google as well. That's like literally the first 30 pages. And as a result of that, anytime any buyer in our city is looking anywhere for us, or not for us, but for boudoir photo shoot, whatever those highest intent keywords are, anywhere, searching on social networks, all the largest ones, or searching on Google itself, they literally only see us for the first like 30 pages. And if approximately 80% of searches never even hit page 2, then basically ain't nobody hitting page 31, which is where basically our competitors start. So obviously, if they can really only find us when they're searching, whose business will continue to grow? Ours. Whose business will, will continue to decrease? Well, that's the other 999,999 boudoir photography businesses competing against us in the same city market, because we, turned SQ methodology up to the max and do way faster than create a brand, way faster. And also, I believe it'll, help create a brand, I don't know, estimate 8x faster, just because of how many surfaces we'll actually be on. Now, once you're with the SQ methodology, we have page 1 visibility, P1V. And, this next initial benefit, first one is, getting the slots page 1 on Google. And then the second one is every new page 1 slot we get on Google, we are kicking competing boudoir photographers off page 1, effectively making them invisible. Now, this is super awesome because now we know if we're kicking our competitor off page 1 of Google, they're page 2 or deeper, approximately 80% of peeps ain't never going to find them because we know approximately 80% of Google searches are page 1 only searches. They never even hit page 2. And if someone instead used a strategy to do it to us, then we're the ones being made invisible. Now, page 1 visibility activates Boudoir search visibility for us. And Boudoir search visibility, this is our GBC recommended minimum of 3 out of 10 slots page 1 on Google. Because if everyone else got 1 slot and we got 3, well, buyers may not even click on anyone else. They may even only click on ours because like, man, why does Google recommend these people, this person 3 times? There must be some reason. They must be good. And we actually kind of dominate everyone else on the page. And there's always like a very, very tiny chance someone could have 2 slots page 1 on Google as well. That's rare though, especially in the cities with city searches because there's so much competition for keywords. And so as a result, even if the super rare chance someone has, two slots, there are 3 slots still dominate them as well. And a Boudoir photographer with BSV is a visible Boudoir photographer, a VBP. So we got a disappearing Boudoir photographer with Boudoir search sameness, which is caused by the dual horns of market saturation and page 1 methodology, or the false belief of page 1 equality. Then now we have the solution, SQ methodology. We achieve page 1 visibility, become a visible Boudoir photographer with Boudoir search visibility. All right, so now my results. This is the keyword I want to rank for, BLCS Boudoir. It's our sister brand. And I exclusively used SQ methodology to do exactly this. And what I did, well, let's see the results. This after 10 days. So we got slot 1, organic, Instagram, me. Slot 2, me. Slot 3, me. Slot 4, me. Slot 5, me. Slot 6, me. Slot 7, me. Slot 8, me. And slot 10, me. So dude, 9 out of 10 slots Google page 1 in 10 days. This is my results I got using this methodology. So now to the main event here. Let's see if this Boudoir photography business has BSS for its local search and its city search. So Middletown, Delaware, Wilmington, Delaware. Okay. So here we go, Middletown, Delaware. So here we go, we got slot 1. Sponsor doesn't count. All right, we got slot 2. All right, we got slot 3. We got slot 4. Hey, we got slot 5. And we got slot 6. Slot 7. Slot 8. Amazing. All right, this is what we want. This is page 1 domination. When we got 8 out of 10 or more slots on page 1. Google search for our highest intent keyword. Perfect. Exactly what we want. Obviously, we want as many as we can get, 9 or 10 as well, but hey man, 8's great. So we do not have BSS for local search, and we have achieved the GBC minimum of 3 out of 10 for local search. Perfect. That search, the largest city close by, which is Wilmington, the same thing. All right, so here we go. We got slot 1. Boom, slot 2. All right, so we got slot 2 here. So we do not have BSS for city search either. So we got 2 out of 10 slots. Nice. And a benefit. So we do not have BSS for local search, and we hit the GBC recommended minimum of 3 out of 10 for local search. We also do not have BSS for city search, but we did not hit the GBC recommended minimum of 3 out of 10 for city search. So all in all, pretty good. So if you're a disappearing boudoir photographer, you've done a local search for the highest intent keywords for buyers in your city, in your local area and your city, and you're saying you've got boudoir search sameness, either 0 or 1 slots on page 1. You're not hitting the GBC minimum on page 2. And you understand, you kind of broken through the brain barrier that, yeah, page 1 equality, that's a false belief, and we can actually take as many page 1 slots as we want. And you've also seen market saturation. Yeah, more people getting more iPhones, new iPhones, get new cameras who come with boudoir photographers. But you also see AI going to be taking more and more people's jobs, leading into way more boudoir photographers coming into the market. And you're saying, oh man, got to prepare for this big supply side shock that's coming. And we can do that by, and you're saying, oh, S cubed methodology, perfect. That's perfect for that. It allows us to saturate social search, which then allows, as a result, allows us to saturate page one Google search for the highest intent keywords. So basically anywhere any buyer searches, we are dominating kind of the attention space there. And so you're seeing S-cubed methodology. You want to achieve page one visibility, become a visible boudoir photographer, achieve boudoir search visibility. You want to hit the GBC minimum of 3 out of 10 on all of the, on all of the local search and city search. And so you're seeing S-cubed methodology is what you want to utilize. And you're also seeing kind of the extra bonuses on the back end. Kind of the more thematic keyword columns that we create that we use S-cubed methodology around the highest intent keywords, then the higher the probability that we get ranked here for AI overview for local search and city search, kind of as the only featured prominent one, because this is pulling from, thematic keyword kind of repetition, authority, age. So higher chance of achieving that with S-cubed methodology kind of as a back-end bonus, and higher chance of showing up in AI search. I actually have an AI search on the back-end ChatGPT, Microsoft Copilot, Google Gemini, Claude, Perplexity. Because I remember last time I checked for boudoir photographers in the city, dude, it only brought up 3. So if we get our kind of our thematic keyword columns created attached to our brand, then a higher chance we show up in Google, all these AI searches. And as a result, kind of some back-end bonus. Also, the more we do S-cubed methodology, kind of more momentum we build up against anyone else, any other boudoir photographers competing against us in our current city. So my plan right now is to only work with one boudoir photographer for a city. So we can build up all that distance, all that momentum, all these back, front-end benefits, obviously, saturating social search and Google page one search, kicking other boudoir photographers off. Also the back-end momentum, high recommendations, AI overview, Google search, and AI, all the different AI searches in general. And as a result, you're saying, hey, probably should be a first mover on this because someone else is a first mover in our city, then, and since my plan is to work with only one person per city on this at a time, then if you weren't working with me, you have to rederive S-cubed methodology on your own, kind of our proprietary method. And then even when you don't know if you're doing it exactly right, or exactly as we've derived it, then you have to equal our execution to maintain the gap between your competitor and your competitor who I could be working with. And you'd actually have to double or triple our capacity to kind of make up all the momentum we would have already achieved. And so you're like, all right, it's better to simply, be first mover on this, get prepared for AI, to force some more boudoir photographers into the market. And so you're like, all right, S-cubed methodology is what I need. I'm ready to go now. So if that's you, shoot me a DM when my DM's open. I'm currently not open for new patient intake, but I will let you know when I am. The hospital is not currently open for new patient intake, but when I do open the hospital, keep watching these videos. That'll tell you actually when the hospital's open. Shoot us a DM and we'll see if you qualify for S-cubed methodology.